Hey guys, everything's getting better and better. You guys are going to want to buy in before the end of the month. That's when the deal expires, right? So first thing I want to point out, new release, okay? We have new templates here. So far you can just see the live demos only, okay? You can't order them, but that's only because we put them up in a whole new area. And so it's just the way we put these things up. But the fact of the matter is they're here, they're awesome, they're really, really cool. Yeah, you're going to want to check this stuff out. So there's that. Let me show you the next thing real quick. If you come into the back, use your tracking. I was talking about this before. The idea that, we've got such things as statistics, okay, to tell us how far everyone scrolled down through the sections on the pages, which page, what section, how far down did people go? How many people made it here, made it there, made it there, made it there? And this thing resets every time it goes through a cycle, right? Because then you have this, you have self-optimization process. So, by the way, yeah, we're paying attention to statistics, the most watched video, the most redirected link, the most scrolled page, how many people signed up to the newsletter, how many clicks on the payment form, whatever it is that we want to track for stats, we can set in here and then we can track it. Self-optimization progress, okay, this whole thing is being built now. So far, it's just saying frequency of analysis. How many visitors between tests, between checks, right? It's supposed to let a number of visitors come before it figures out the averages. How many do you want that to be? Do you want it to be 25, 50? Do you want it to be 100? Okay. It's important. Do you want it to be 1,000? The larger the sample size, the better it's going to do. But if you want it to adjust as it goes, you don't want to wait forever unless you're getting a lot of traffic. Either you're pushing the traffic with ads or you're just getting a lot of organic traffic, but you have to get traffic in order for the analysis to kick in, right? So probably you're going to start off with something like 25, but if you go too short, right, what can happen? The pages keep adjusting all the time too fast because the sample size isn't big enough to be sensible. I think 50 is probably the right number for you. So just to make that point. All right, now having said that, let me show you something else. We were talking about the notion that we're tracking user scrolls and user actions, right? If somebody lands on your web page and starts to scroll down, each section they hit has a purpose. You either read it and continue down, or it's got something you can click on and do, like watch a video, sign up to a newsletter, make a payment, or both. It's got something you can read and click on, usually. So here's what we think. We think if people are scrolling down, then either they're going to click something finally to leave the page, either because they're making a payment, they're signing up to a newsletter, they're going to another page, or they don't click, which means they keep scrolling down, okay? We're trying to hold their interest, and so they're reading, right, until they find what they're looking for. Now, if our flow is good, then the page is doing its job and people are scrolling all the way down. Unless what? Unless they click something and that takes them over here. Well, when they leave and they went over here, that means they found what they were looking for. So that should not count against scroll downs. So we remove that from the math of the scroll downs. Scroll downs is when somebody scrolls down, stops halfway, and leaves the website. Now we want to know why, especially if a lot of people do that. If on average, most people are leaving the website like halfway down, but they're not clicking on anything, then our website's not doing its job, is it? Probably something's out of order. We're losing their interest along the way. Maybe we started with 1.2 high that should be down low. But instead of us having to watch it, we set up our best results so that probably we're going to have something pretty good. And then we let the website track from there because the website will adjust wherever they stop to keep shifting through the combinations of what it has available to try to maximize the scroll down activity, right? Now, hopefully as people are scrolling, they're clicking things because they're finding what they're after, right? That's what we really expect, is that they scroll down until they move through to the next page or sign up or watch a video. Having said that, certain things we expect them to watch the video, right? We probably have the video up pretty high because most people would rather watch a video than read a lot if they're in a hurry or if they're browsing. Okay. Now, if they're browsing, they might glance through everything. But then if they think, okay, this is looking reasonable to me, maybe they are kind of like scrolling through it to see what's there, then they say, let me watch that video, right? So we want to track that. So while we're tracking all the actions on everything. Now, when we track clicks and stuff, we're tracking the percentage of clicks. Maybe we thought at least 5% of the people, or 10% or 20 or 50 or 60 would watch the video. And so did we hit our goal? If not, what can we do about that? Well, here's where we have something about actions that's pretty awesome. And we built this thing in here recently. So these are all the different themes on this panel. And we've only really been playing with the main theme, the one that we can stare at, which is just called agency. Now in agency, there's all these different pages, okay? So let's go to the agency theme main page and let's see what's available there for all the actions, okay? And when we do that, it's gonna load up every action. This is every possible thing that you could click on that page. And yeah, there are a lot of them, 35 entries. Now, among that are videos, YouTube videos, okay? Some are just testimonial videos, but one of them we consider really important, don't we? So we set the priority to high and set it to like we think 60% of the people watch it. But what if they don't? What if we're not hitting our mark every 50 people or 25 people? What if when we go through those cycles and we do the math on how many clicked, it's not enough percentage, right? Well, I'm going to show you. We go in here. Of course, we type the percentage we want. We set the priority high or low. High if this is something that's mission critical in a way, like you expect people to watch the video, has a lot to do with the actions they're going to take after that, then yeah, set it high. Now, we can add or edit alternatives. Let me click to do it. See what that is? These are other YouTube video IDs, right? It's really the YouTube video link minus the beginning part. Something like this, right? Whatever it is, right? Actually, it's something like this, isn't it? Watch, right? Okay, so when you take your video ID for YouTube, all videos work the same way, really. Just kill the beginning. And if there's something at the end, like there will be an ampersand. That's the and symbol right there. Ampersand T equals, 23 means it'll start 23 seconds into the video. There should never be an ampersand in the video ID. There won't be. So if I want to take this link and make it right, I'm going to get rid of everything up to the V equals, meaning video equals. Get rid of that part. And if there is an ampersand in there, everything after the ampersand, which is like and time equals 23 seconds, ampersand T equals 23, needs to go away also. Okay? What I'm left with is the proper video ID. I want to make sure to get it right, but I can put in a bunch of these in a certain order and save it. And then because I saved it, or cancel, I guess I didn't hit anything. All right, then what does that mean? That means that if the first video is not getting enough views, if we're scrolling past, if the average user scrolls past it but doesn't watch it, then we figure they are not interested in that video. Maybe you wanted them to watch it, but that's not the one they want to watch. So what do you want to do? You want to try out some other videos you have, either other videos from the channel of whatever it is you're promoting, or other how-tos, or other why you should know this. I've had people say, well, what if I'm trying to sell a certain kind of a keto diet and they don't have any videos? The answer is put in videos that explain the value of a keto diet, but don't really sell anyone else's. Put in how-to videos on how you can do the roofing steps, the right way, but then the link to let us do it for you, And that way you get the value of the videos in the page and the value of exciting people with the video, right? So you can put in alternatives. So if the first one isn't working out well enough, the system will automatically switch and try the next one for the next 50 visitors. See how that went. If it's still not hitting, it'll try the next one. However many alternatives you put in until it hits. It's just going to work through that list until it hits. It'll cycle through it and start over again. Now, what if it does hit the goal you set? Then it stops. If right here it starts getting the right reaction, the right goal, it stops. It's not going to change it for this one. There's no reason to know that this one will outperform this one. If this one hits the goal, we're not going to touch it, right? Okay, what's another action very much like that? Say you've got the newsletter, and the newsletter has a button on it called Submit, okay? And that newsletter probably has a header and a subheader, okay? And we expect at least 3% of the visitors to sign up. That's what we're expecting, and we set it to high. So let me show you what this is all about, okay? 3%, of course, we can make it 30 or whatever. It's just what do you find realistic depending on your high intensity or low intensity pitch. And that's it, right? You might think, well, don't you want a high intensity? The answer is, I guess it depends on how you drew people into the page. If you go high intensity, then you might narrow the number of people that land on the page. And so then you're going for a much higher percentage, like 30. But if you're going low intensity and drawing in a big curious crowd, maybe you don't want to turn them off by suddenly going high intensity about signing up. So just think through the strategy of what makes sense for your needs. Having said that, click to add or edit alternatives. Guess what? This alternative is, what if what you have on the page for the newsletter, okay, subscribe to the newsletter, subscribe now, and here's the submit button. Submit, you know. I'm just trying to make this sense, make sense real quick, okay? Say that's not working. Well, let's say this. Get, right, you know, a 15% coupon delivered, right? Subscribe now for your coupon. Subscribe now to get, you know, 15% off your next order. All right? And then instead of the button saying submit, maybe you want the button to say get your coupon, right? Save it. So, do you get the idea? Now, maybe you could raise this even because of that. And you say, now I want a higher percentage. But the point is what? Whatever you think your percentage should be, whatever was on the page, if it's not doing well enough, it will try another option. If it doesn't hit the goal, it will switch. It will change the header and the subheader and what the button says to whatever you want the next test to be. Okay? Pretty soon you'll be able to add a bunch of these if you really want. Mostly you shouldn't need to, right? Mostly you're just going to go each time around and see if you're making it, and you'll just try out a couple of different headlines until you nail it, right? But the whole page is coming together. See, the website is arranging the sections for you to try to maximize attention on page and interactions. And it's going through your alternatives for videos, your alternatives for newsletter sign-up headings, right? Your big things. And there are going to be alternatives for a lot of the other options as well. Some things don't make sense for alternatives unless you do like title tags, to have a little pop-up title tag to encourage you to click the link for that page. Does that really mean that we should do it? I don't know. Some of these are images. What are you going to do with those, right? So a lot of these, I mean, we could be like splitting hairs if we try to make it too involved. But the notion that you can do alternatives, and especially you could do them on anything. Any good argument for why we should create alternatives on any of these things, and we can do it, okay? And in the meantime, certain things we know we should do alternatives with for testing is like the newsletter sign-up information. And the YouTube's being able to swap between videos to see what hits the best, right? Those are important, okay? Those are the most important there. That explains that, okay? So now we know what users are clicking on, and we track it, and we can make adjustments. If users are scrolling but not down far enough, we can make adjustments. We can see where users exit. So if there is typically a certain section where users just leave the page, then unless they're clicking somewhere, but that's not the point. User exits mean they left the website. They closed the page. They went away. That's what exits mean. So exits tell us who left at what part of what page. Now this goes into the statistics. And so the point of that is, say a bunch of people are scrolling down and they hit a certain section and they just leave the website. Okay, well, the system will keep trying to scroll that down. But say they hit that section anyway and leave the website. All right, we don't want that section there anymore, do we? That section is doing something wrong. We don't know what, but people are seeing it badly. So what do we do with that section? Flip it off. Take it out, right? So we actually deactivate that section on that page. Isn't that neat? I'll show you how that works here. So on a page, any page, if I edit it, okay, it's got sections. There's this section, that section, that section, that section. Yes, you can flip and drag and drop them. Now, don't fight the automation, right? First, you would drag and drop, or we're doing it if we're doing your project for you, to get what we think is the right combination, right? We're just thinking, okay, here's what we believe should happen, you know, and we're absolutely, okay. And we're absolutely working this up in the beginning, and we're going to save the changes, right? Once we get that done, what do we think? We think we got it right. We've done the best job that we can do without monitoring, okay? From there, the system will monitor how far down they went, and if they went this far down and then they stopped, then we're going to keep rearranging these. We're going to move this up and see if that works. If that doesn't, we're going to move that up. If that does better, we're going to move that up. Hopefully, they start scrolling down further before they leave. And then we go, okay, we're going to move that down, you know. We're going to move that, you know. And then they're going to keep scrolling down, right? Get the idea? So the system is monitoring and updating how often? As often as you tell it to. Every however many visitors, okay? If you go too fast, you're going to get chaos. And so you're not going to know if you're doing better or worse. It's just going to keep almost randomly switching for each next guy. Like if I said 4, then, I mean, I'm not going to get a real result that makes sense, right? Not everyone's the same. But if I say a good number like 50, okay, then my website really can improve itself. Here's the beauty of that. You're not doing that. Your website's smartly doing it. It is paying attention, not only on that page, but this page. Same thing now. It's got a lot of sections on it. That page has a lot of sections on it. That page has a lot of sections on it. The website will pay attention to the order and whether to flip anything off, because the exit hits a high percentage of usage, and they go, no matter how many times it gets scrolled, no matter how many times that section gets moved, people leave when they hit it. Turn it off. Except for the keys, right? Your pricing needs to stay on. Your newsletter needs to stay on. Your video section needs to stay on. Just swap the video out. Swap the wording out for your newsletter. And we'll do swap the wording out for your pricing section too, right? So that you can pitch the pricing section better. Okay? How's that for cool? So all of that's happening, and I haven't even talked about the other cool part, which is creating content so fast, so efficiently, creating all your pages, like all the pages you would need for your website, really fast, like right now, in minutes. You're going to have an awesomely written website, maybe 15 minutes from now. And not just that, you're going to have the ability to keep creating more pages at full speed. Okay? Just whatever you want, whenever you want it, for whatever purpose. So if you're pitching flooding, you can write a page for Birmingham, Alabama, and then turn around, write another page for some other city, Louisville, say, or Kentucky, wherever water flooding happens a lot. And they will be totally uniquely written pages, but really, really cool. And at the same time, not duplicates. Google will treat them well. They will be different pages on your website that you generated fast, that read really well and help sell and get people to call or whatever is supposed to happen there. And it doesn't matter what it's for. I'm saying flooding. What could it be? It could be your ClickBank product. It could be your Offer Vault pay-per-call, right? Where you get paid every time you get somebody to call a phone number who turns out to be the right kind of guy. All of these things, right, is simple to control, okay? So definitely want to get in this month on any of the stuff that we have because the deals are best right now. And you've just got a few more days before this month ends, so don't miss. Having said that, I mean, give me a call if you don't know what you're doing and you just want to talk it through. That's not a problem. And having said that, I got to break off because I actually have to go. I'll talk about the content thing in a separate video. All right.